And we are back from the break. The party has arrived at the gates to the Rhaegar Manse and greeted by what you think is the same Lakshu, green-haired warrior woman. Um, Seeing you, she gives you a curt nod, and you don't see any obvious signal from her for the gates to open, but they do begin to open behind you. And remember, these gates are like they look like they would be normally, normal steel, iron, barred gates, but they're grown. They're all wood, not like made out of wood, but like grown branches, and they have leaves growing from them. And around the whole manse is a great hedge wall. They swing open, and you are led through the outer courtyard, which is full of plants of all varieties. Finn, you recognize maybe a tenth of them. And of those that you don't recognize, you're pretty sure that, like some of them are like, okay, I don't recognize that, but it's like this other plant, kind of thing. And they're all flowering plants, and they're all in flower. The pollen kind of gets to all of you, but not in such a way that like you're not feeling sneezy or anything like that, but just a little lightheaded, but not too bad. But the pollen is really thick as you're going through the courtyard.
Braxon will drop back near Finn and say, "These plants smell weird. Do you think there's some sort of magical effect being put on us?"
Could be, but what would they gain from it?
You could roll an herbalism check if you want. Okay, you're not sensing anything that feels to you dangerous.
Okay, so we're not likely to walk into a giant fly trap.
Well, I mean,
Or
it
you
is
kill
possible that they're deceiving Finn too, but in his expert opinion,
I'll trust Finn on that.
Oh,
Mhm.
oh no, I trust Finn.
Yeah.
Considering that they do have a decent reputation, I doubt that they are
I
having malicious plans for us.
I had no such thoughts. I was just wondering if there might be defensive plants.
To be fair, no one really knows what's up with the Rhaegar.
True.
I think if they had defensive plants, they're over by the walls in case somebody tries to scale the walls and steal something.
Well,
Yeah.
it might be. See if there's defensive plants. It might be something that Finn could learn about and grow on our asteroid.
So, Finn, you're still carrying your plant, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you are definitely recognizing that there are some carnivorous plants out amongst all of them. Not in, if you were just a thief who didn't know anything about plants, you might stumble into them, and they might be dangerous to a person. It's hard to say. Most carnivorous plants aren't, but you're not feeling in any particular danger right now. So you get to the front door, and it swings open, and you feel like those doors are actually leaves, because they kind of like rustle open rather than like creak open, and you walk into what almost feels like an outdoor garden. It is brightly lit, but you're not really sure where the light's coming from. The ceiling above you seems more like a forest canopy than an actual like ceiling of a building. And again,
Solas makes
there's plants and flowers everywhere.
Solas makes us plenty of mental notes about this place to write down later.
So the Lakshu guides you further in through another door, and you realize that you are entering a study. There are bark-covered shelves along one wall with a variety of books from all over, as far as you can tell. And in the center of the room is a desk and chairs molded out of vines, leaves, and wood, but not like they're not carved. You feel like they're grown. And sitting behind the desk is a stunning woman of androgynous beauty, but wearing clothing that is just all vines and leaves, and flowers in her hair, all over her body, and she's kind of has a halo of glowing motes surrounding her. Some of you have encountered a Rhaegar before, and you immediately recognize that. That is something that none of you have ever seen on anything other than a Rhaegar. But you do recognize immediately that she is a Rhaegar. She looks up from whatever it is that she's doing, and gives you a slight nod and speaks. You told Climbing Echidna that you were looking for information on a monitor and the Maze of Keftos, I believe. I can help you in exchange for unique plants or magic that can assist in my botanical research. Please, have a seat, and we can discuss such.
Yes, I bring you gift from an unique world we encountered.
Please, have a seat
As a-
first.
Okay, Solas sits down.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll sit down as well.
Braxon, sit down.
The seats are very cushiony. They're not hard at all. They're quite comfortable. And they're almost like sitting on a giant leaf. And you realize that the seat itself, like where the cushion would be, is just that. It is a giant leaf on each of these chairs. And she says, do go on. What do you have that might interest me?
Yes, these plant samples and seeds that I brought, Solas says as he opens the up for her to see. We found them on a blue phlogiston river at a planet that was also blue. It seems that they have crystalline texture, and my alchemical test told me that it is metallic in nature, copper to be specific. I also present the notes.
The Lakshu steps forward to take them off you and allow the Rhaegar to look at them. And she does examine them closely and says, yes, indeed. These are quite unusual. I have never seen their like before. You say you found them in a phlogiston river. Can you tell me which spheres that was between?
Yes, it was between Vad sphere and what was the Aarakocra sphere?
Arakal space.
Arakal space. It was a blue phlogiston river between these two spheres.
I may have to charter someone to fetch me some more. These will suffice for some of the information. At the moment, however, I am in great need of Magic, or if you've been there yourself, information about the flora of Liga, the sun of this sphere. Would any of you perhaps know of anything that can help me there?
Look at Finn. He's native.
I don't know that Finn would have any information on that.
Well, unique magic that could help her access Liga would work.
True.
For anyone. Whether you have it with you or not, like, you can always be like, we can go get it.
Well, she's trying to access somebody.
A fire world, yeah.
Physically traveling there.
Alternately, like, you would guess that anything magical related to plants of significant
Yeah, I know my
rarity
bag of beans
might...
would probably be worth a small fortune to her, but you know. I am not ready to give those up. Not easily, anyway.
We've not landed on a song yet.
Or even had reason to.
No, we in the Dwarven's forge space we did.
Well,
Oh
We
yeah,
went to that fire giants and all that.
But that was a
Yeah,
lot
but
cool. That was a very cool part of it in comparison.
yeah.
Yeah.
would it be possible? I'm asking this of the group. Would it be possible to acquire the magic she needs on a nearby planet, like a scroll or something?
I don't think any
Problem is,
common spell.
the problem is I'm at a loss of what spell could even
Yeah.
help you.
I'm kind of wondering that myself because I don't know many magic items.
Being
I
immune to
imagine
fire
what
would
she
help,
needs is a
but-
protection scroll. That's the only thing I can think of.
So you'd be getting the impression that something that's more than just a one-shot thing would be...
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Then it'd be something that she could wear that would confer protection or environmental. Yeah.
Do we have anything that protects from fire?
I can think of a few things, but I'm not mentioning them.
Well, I mean, if you have other plant-related things, you can ask her for more information, you know, try to see if there's other things that she might be interested in.
Like plants from other planets. Like if someone collected plant samples from the... What was the large plant in the realms space?
Garden.
What about the plant you guys created in Leva's memorial? Do you have any material from that?
I've got the seeds for the bag of beans. I'm not trading those.
Okay.
Because there's chance that it won't be even plants that come out of it.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
They
They
are pure
would
magic
be worth
item.
something in trade, but I am very hesitant to give away something like that. That's like my most
That is
prized
fair.
possession.
That is completely fair. I wasn't sure, so I thought I'd ask.
Well, I mean, you know, maybe you can negotiate for some more information about other things from her then.
I mean, did we offer, like, the snapdragon or the other plant?
No one has given her yet anything
No one
else.
no one has brought up anything at all. I think, like, at this point, you guys are, like, whispering amongst each other.
I will step forward with my plant that I've created.
And that's your own creation, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So she reaches out, and it does not snap her finger, and she kind of like strokes it, and she says, "Now this is an adorable creation. It is not quite what I'm looking for, but I might have something that I can exchange with you for, if you wish to give me a sample of this."
Certainly.
Braxon says our guidebook says there's some big plants on one of the moons in the center of the sphere. We could go fetch some of those for you if that would be something you'd be interested in.
No, other than Liga itself, my Lakshu have been to all the known worlds in this sphere and gotten
Yeah.
me samples of everything I could desire.
And I doubt there's going to be any plants in Darkstar.
Wow.
Hmm. They'd be pretty nasty if we did find some, I think.
No, you can hybridize them out, I guess. The bad traits. I think that's what's going on here if I look around.
Yes, indeed.
Cultivation, breeding.
I and my partner are attempting to create the most perfect and beautiful flower, one that will surpass all others in beauty. Obviously, we need
noble goal.
to try everything we can find. The flora that grows on fire worlds is one of the few sorts that we have yet to be able to get at all, which is why that is of most interest to me. But these samples from a world in the phlogiston that has grown uniquely, unaltered by normal wild space forces, is certainly quite unique and of significant interest.
Mhm. Yeah, there is flowers within the samples.
Yeah.
Why aren't you like pressing them between pages of a book or something? Or am I thinking of something
I
else?
also harvested seeds and such.
Now, the notes that you gave her, is that the copy or
Mhm.
is that a copy?
Wait,
It's an A copy.
Okay,
Since I also gave copy for the seekers and
Okay. That's what I wanted to make sure.
I
Yep.
had thought. Then we had like a jar or something that was said to have an Ifrit or something in it.
Finn has a ring that summons an Ifrit.
Couldn't we use that to get the plants that he wants?
You would have to make a contract and stuff.
she wants.
Or we could offer her the ring?
What?
That's up to Finn.
You give
Yeah,
giving
you
away
can
Finn's
offer
best
other
guide.
people's items.
No, I wasn't offering it. I was offering a suggestion. It's the only thing I could think of that we have that could do it.
The
But
thought
still,
crossed
it's
my
up to
mind, but I
Finn.
couldn't mention it.
Well, the idea of using one of our items to travel to the fire world to get the item she wants, I don't think that would be out of the question.
And a Ifrit could do that. It would be immune to the fire.
Okay.
I'd bring up
We
like
could make a
the
deal with one.
yeah. I'd bring up the suggestion to Finn about his Ifrit ring, and maybe that could work.
You might want to look the group chat.
Oh, what? Sorry. Uh, I'm not sure what else I have then.
I mean, you could offer if she has some kind of quest you could do.
I didn't think to bring it with me. Forgive me. But there is a plant that I acquired in Corinne space. When it blooms, it smells of bread. It has an unusual, pleasant smell.
I
It's
have
just-
already collected samples of that plant. I know
Oh,
the one of
you-
which you speak.
I didn't get a name for the plant.
Well, it was a
Out of
good
character,
effort.
you know.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
You describe it to her, and
I
she's immediately familiar with it.
I do know spell that might potentially help. I haven't studied the spell exactly myself, but it is in our spellbook library. But I'm not quite certain if it would work. It's a spell that allows you to create a gate for more easy and access to rare or dangerous components for spells.
What spell are you talking about?
Passage procurement. It's a 5th level spell.
No, I'm not particularly interested in spells. Nor am I interested in single-use items.
Is there any way we could do like a quest or some kind of work for you to get the information? Since I am struggling to think of anything we could do to deal with the fire body.
We might be able to do something on the fire body, but
How about this,
Well-
Ockar? Since
Yeah?
you brought up my ring, what are you willing to trade for it?
Oh boy.
hey, that's the ring of Ifrit summoning.
Ah.
Talk about putting him on the spot.
One of the problems you got is he's not allowed to give away his magic items except to the church.
Yeah. Well, if he does, he can have it, but he can't. If he doesn't choose to use it, then he doesn't count as an item. It could be used as trade, though, couldn't it?
Just,
Like, if I was allowed to give him one of my items, I'd trade him the Ring of Macabre for it.
Finn, how would you feel about that if he was able to do that?
I could consider that a fair trade.
Ockar, get to praying.
I'm praying. I'm praying.
So you're
Well,
you're
ask him.
basically you're praying to Tyr to see if he will grant you this exception, basically.
Yes, to give him the Ring of Macabre so that I can get the Ring of Ifrit summoning to give to this woman so that I will be able to get this holy relic
All right.
to further his cause.
You have a sense that that would be acceptable.
Okay. I will take off the Ring of Macabre and offer it to Finn.
And I will fish out the ring of Ifrit summoning from my pouch and hand it to him.
Okay.
Right? And I will then offer her the ring and say, this is a ring that can summon Ifrit. Beings that are immune to fire and it can travel to the planet for you.
You'd have to set up a contract, though, no doubt.
But you would have to make a contract with it, but you should be able to summon an Ifrit servant that can go and get you as many planets as you want from the fire body.
What's their reaction to that?
That might do nicely. She takes the. She actually gets up and walks over to you to take the ring.
Yeah.
And she looks at it first, and let's see.
How they just have the ability to know what items are.
Not necessarily, but she's certainly examining it.
Or didn't the other Rhaegar have bardic law or something?
That was them.
Oh, they definitely
Rhaegar
can't.
are extremely powerful and mysterious creatures with a wide variety of abilities that you really cannot
of them
fathom.
Like
Let's put it that
quasi-god,
way.
Each of them unique. Since all have different ideas and tastes.
So after examining it for a moment, she slips it on one of her fingers and rubs it while it's on her finger. A moment later, a 12-foot tall, red-skinned female with horns appears, and in a big puff of like acrid smoke that sends most of you into a bit of a coughing fit. But the Lakshu and the Rhaegar appear completely unaffected, and this 12-foot woman is like taller than all of you, and just stares down at all of you with disdain, and says, "Well, one of you is my new master. Which, you. What is it you wish, mistress?" she says to the Rhaegar. And Lady Bethia says, yes, you will do quite nicely. I will need you to fetch me some plants from some of the native flora of Liga. Off you go. Tut-tut. She kind of like waves her off, and the 12-foot tall, red-skinned woman glares, huffs, and disappears into a puff of smoke that breezes out through the door.
That's perfect.
Lady Bethia turns to you and says, "Yes, I think these will do quite nicely. In exchange, you wish to know about a monitor who could aid you when you visit the Dark Star.
Yes.
I do know of such. I have dealt with some of them before, to assist me in gaining various plants. Unfortunately, going to Liga is not amongst their skill sets, at least not that I would consider. Let's see. She then says, "Here, use this flower," and the Lakshu steps forward to you, Ockar, carrying a flower. You have no idea where she got it. You did not see her fetch it from someplace. But you were distracted by a 12-foot tall, red-skinned, horned woman just moments ago. So
I'm just going to suspect either magic or she's got super speed, so I'm just going to delicately accept it with reverence.
So the plant is in a pot, and it's quite large in your hands. But it has a single stem and a single leaf that forms kind of a conical spiral. And Lady Bethia says, "Call the name Rixtia when you get to the Dark Star, and you will have her aid. She owes me a favor, and this will absolve that."
Thank you, my lady.
And then she turns to you, Darrakar, and says, "You were looking for information on the maze of Keftos, correct?"
Yes.
"Yes, that is said to be a creation of Shetsnar the Mazemaker, another Rhaegar, one I have not met in quite a long time. I have not been there myself, but it is not of this plane. There are many hidden entrances in many spheres. I have two things that will aid you." She produces a small piece of stone. It is obviously a piece of some larger object. You can see inscribed on it various lines, but it is a small piece of stone, like part of a stone disc kind of shape, and it is only a fragment of it, so you cannot make heads or tails of what else it is. This will function as a key if you can find the rest of the pieces. And she walks over and hands it to you. You must find the other pieces, but this will help. And the Lakshu is standing beside you holding another flower. It is a smaller flower than the one she gave Ockar. Also in a pot. Well, whereas the other one was like a plant with a leaf, this one is a flower. And it has 6 lavender petals and a long single stamen of deep navy blue. And the pot is, you don't recognize what it's made of. It seems like metal, but it feels in your hands like ceramic. It's very strange. And she says, this flower will let you know if there is an entrance to the maze of Keftos in any given sphere. In addition, it will let you know if there is a piece of the key in any given sphere. All you need to do is brush it a little bit, inhale the pollen before you go to sleep when you arrive in a sphere, and you will dream. If you dream, you will dream of such things. It will be up to you to then find both the key, the pieces of the key, and the entrance to the maze.
Okay, that is good to know.
Now, Darrakar, you you went to an oracle that told you about the maze of Keftos, and what the oracle told you does not match up with what she told you about the origin of this maze. So you're kind of suspicious about that. In addition, basically everyone knows that the Rhaegar take credit for everything good anyway. They
Yeah.
taught dwarves how to carve stone. They taught elves magic. They taught gnomes how to make devices. So
Yeah, there's a possibility this is a red herring.
It's still something better than nothing.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
still better
it
than
might.
nothing.
I
but,
mean, it might not be red herring, but it might be that she's just lying about
Flavoring
the
it.
origin of the maze.
yeah. Potentially, yeah.
And then finally, to Finn, she turns to you and opens up her palm, and there is a small seed in her palm. And she says, "Take this. I think you'll enjoy what it produces."
I am honored.
You'll have to grow it and see what it becomes. Let me just make a note that you have taken the Infinity Vine seed. There we go. All right. I mean, no, definitely not.
We weren't told not to speak about the Rhaegar from Panopus space, weren't we? We just weren't allowed to indicate where it's located.
I believe that's correct.
I wonder if we could throw Infinity Vine at that murderoid and just like cover it up.
Yeah, no, we'll bring up the story about how we went, during some casual conversation, and we mentioned that we were in Rhaegar at one point. There might be some interesting fauna and flora there. There was a Rhaegar that made a temple or something there.
Do you remember the name of the Rhaegar?
No.
It was the one that involved the like when we were traveling with that golem.
It wasn't a
Yeah.
golem, but you don't know what it was.
That statuesque figure that where when we got there everything was frozen in time. He was like
Yeah.
building his own crystal sphere or something.
Yeah, he gave us one of his
he's,
devices for the ship, the tracking device.
Hang on.
I remember the name of the sphere, but I don't remember the actual person.
I've got names of 2 Rhaegar. One is Histane and one is Javos.
A stain is the
One's
one
gonna be
back
on
on Brawl.
So Javos.
Do you want to mention him?
Go on, I don't see why not.
Yeah, but I can't remember the exact details of who did what. Oh, hang on. Hang on.
I only started keeping.
Oh yeah, it was Panopus Space. It was Panopus Space, and we rescued a Lakshu called Snowlark.
Yeah, I guess we're talking about you clarify my points.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
more
and we
looking
went-
for what you want. Like, are you just saying, hey, do you know him? Do you know Javos? Are
Yeah,
you
yeah,
saying
basically.
like, what are you? Why are you bringing him up? What do you want out of it? What do you like? How are you?
I'm just making small talk, mentioning about Rhaegar, how it has unusual. It's an unusual planet with, there's rather extreme ends of like fauna and flora that could be growing there. And it's like, oh yeah, we met a Rhaegar there as well. So I'm just casually bringing it up. Well,
What
not
strange
from there,
planet that could have unusual flora and fauna?
yeah, because it's so extremely hot and cold.
Oh, Rattle!
Rattle,
Rattle.
he just put little things to lead you to him there.
Yeah, remember, he just gave us those, like, puzzle chambers.
Yeah, you were following a map that took you to those two locations and then eventually to Panopa Space, where it turned out there was a Rhaegar there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm just making conversation.
Right.
There's no...
Well, I'm more looking for what. I'm fine with you bringing him up. I'm more looking for like what is the context? Like, how are you bringing him up? Are you saying, is it literally just, hey, do you know the Rhaegar Javos?
Well, he was creating his own sphere, so I assume that he might have created unusual, non-standard fauna in the process.
Okay.
By just how the
Okay.
nature of making a sphere works, I guess.
Right. The reason that I wanted to know is because I can't have her respond to you if I don't know what you're bringing him up for, kind of thing. So she says, Javos, yeah, yes, he has some strange idea about bringing the inner planes into a crystal sphere to make it a perfect crystal sphere. It is... If you have met him, let me just say, you are lucky to have escaped without him talking your ear off about his goals.
That's fair enough, thank you.
About interesting plants, Solas doesn't have samples, but Solas does mention the strange plants that we saw in Chthon space.
Do you have any
But,
details about what you're mentioning?
For example, how there was this strange mushroom tree, mushrooms that were like trees.
She gives a chuckle and says, I can understand how you might think it, but fungi are not plants.
Yeah, but there were also some strange moss and such in there.
Isn't moss still a fungus?
No, moss is a
Or-
plant.
No.
Moss is a
Oh,
plant.
okay.
Moss is a plant.
Never mind.
No, it's okay.
We've met some
I'm
odd
just
types.
mentioning basically.
Ockar doesn't,
basically,
Ockar
if
doesn't know the
she,
difference.
Yeah.
basically in that if she that might be some avenue to look for some strange plants.
I will certainly keep it in mind.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, my biggest interest is in the plants that grow on Liga. And I thank you
I
for
wish-
the assistance.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome.
Does she know it? Does she know anything about the Dark Star itself, like its history and such?
What
How
I
it ended
know
up the way it
about
did?
it is that it is quite cold. I do believe that some dark magics have been worked there, but whatever it was before I came to this sphere. I was still collecting samples in other spheres.
Okay.
If we find any plants there, would you be interested in them?
Perhaps, but I imagine that they would only be variations on things that I would find on other asteroids in the grinder.
Okay.
That's fair enough. I can't think of anything else then.
Was she wasn't alone. There was another Rhaegar here, wasn't there?
Yes, there
There
is.
was a pair.
Her partner.
Yeah.
I just casually mentioned you have an interest in plants. What does your associate or partner have an interest in?
Oh, Starnell is off collecting new samples as we speak.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Yeah, they both had the same goal of creating the most beautiful flower.
That's why they
I
can live
don't-
in the same place.
Yeah. Oh wait, that's unusual for Rhaegar, isn't it? Unless they have the same.
Most of them are too obsessed with their one goal to spend much time with each other.
So when they do align.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's very likely that they have, right now, two aligned goals, but are still slightly different, and eventually they'll diverge from what you've heard.
Mm-hmm.
If there is nothing else that you wish to know, then Climbing Echidna will see you out.
Of course. Thank you for your time and for the plants and your knowledge.
So that is a last opportunity if anyone has something that they want to ask her that they think that she might know and they have something to trade. Anyone?
Nope.
Okay.
What
Solas
about that
asks,
prism? Okay, you know. She might be able to tell you of its history, but you might have to trade it. I don't know.
No, I'm good.
Alright, keep it then.
Solas asks her if she knows any more potent healing plants than the normal variants.
I'm unconcerned with the effects of the plants. Some of these, I'm sure, have developed healing properties, but that is not really of my concern.
Okay.
You would have learned down in town that basically, like, there are people who collect the plants that start growing outside of their mansion and test them out to see what they do, and they have found that some of them are edible, some of them have herbal or flavorful elements and stuff like that. So it's basically like seeds are just getting spread, and they don't care when they're ones that don't work out, and it's up to everyone else to deal with it.
Deal with them.
Yeah. All right. So the Lakshu leads you out, and you can make your way back to the ship, back to your ship.
Okay.
Now, last session, I had mentioned that if you wanted to be casting Shape Wood to restore the damage on your ship, you could basically just buy the wood and then immediately cast the spells kind of thing, so that rather than taking down your stock and then, oh, what do we need to get back up to our stock? So, like, rather than not even touch that, you can just say, all right, I got X castings of Shape Wood that can let me do X amount of hull points. That's going to cost Y amount.
Yeah,
if you want to do
let
that.
me have a look. See,
You've had
That's a
3
good idea.
days while you were waiting for this, so you could have gotten some of that in.
So we're on 48 hull points of 70 hull points, so we need to do 22 hull
wasn't-
points.
22.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to get into combat, so I would take a roster of Shipwoods.
Right, 3 days you've had.
Yeah.
How many? What would you guys have been doing in that time?
I'm working on the armor. I need like another 4 days to finish it.
No, I know, but you can't cast that spell anyway, so that's.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
I would be working on my start you out. Probably.
Right now I'm only interested in how many you could have done how many you would have done in those 3 days. Those of you who
I had
can
no
cast
reason
the
to
spell.
take any other third level spell, so I would be taking 5 a day.
Okay.
Same for Finn, so he'd be doing 4 a day.
Okay. So how much can you restore each day? We'll start with Lafdul, with each spell.
1 is guaranteed, and 10% of the time it will only do 1, but 90% of the time it will do 2.
Okay, so 90% chance to do 2.
Yeah, 5d.
Okay, yeah. Give me 5d100.
So 2 of them failed.
Okay, so
Wow, 2 of them got 1.
so you get 8 hull points. So that's 800 gold for that. So 8 hull points. Braxon, if you want to update the thing for the first one.
Hang on. 56.
All right, and Finn, how about you?
Guaranteed 2 per casting.
Okay, no chance of 3?
Nope.
Okay.
Not until next level.
All right, so that's 8 for you. So another 800 gold. And 8 more hull points for the ship.
64. So we're only six hull points down now. Six.
Yeah, 6.
All right, so since Finn is guaranteed, that's just 3 spells for you.
Yep.
All right, so 600 more gold, 3 more spells, and your ship will be fully repaired.
So 2,400 gold all told?
I think that should be 22, because you were at 48, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were 48.
22.
Yeah, so 2,200.
Oh, yeah, it would be.
Yeah, because the wood is a fixed cost, regardless of whether the spell does 2 instead of 1.
Okay. All right, so you'll have the ship fully repaired by the time you even are called to meet with a Rhaegar. And it'll probably be another day before you can pick up your holy water, Braxon.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there anything anyone else wants to do in port? Any reason that you guys would stay longer than these 4 days?
We'd be setting up the glyphs of warding because they were 3rd level spells and stuff, so we might have to stay for a couple more extra days or something.
Solas would be able to cast his glyphs of warding
Yeah, all that works.
during that time.
Okay, and Lankas, you wanted to do some spell learning as well, right? Learning from the spell books that you guys have? All right, so 4 days would be 4 spells that you can learn.
Okay.
What Braxon will do is spend some time and maybe retcon some of it in the past if because I didn't think about it. Doing jobs for the church, fixing things.
You would probably be too busy with the 4 days getting making sure that you're getting the equipment for the crew.
Yeah, that's true.
Getting the ship properly
doing
repaired.
Doing a paint job for the ship.
Painting the repaired portions as well.
Yeah.
So what spell are you looking at first, Lankas?
Blindness.
Okay. That is an illusion spell.
Yep. So it's plus 15, right?
Yep.
Okay. Oops. That was wrong. There we go.
Okay. All right, so that is a success.
Yep.
And then roll for the number of pages.
Blindness, that's good.
Okay.
If I recall that correctly, does that also allow you to cast it as deafness?
No, the priest
No,
spell.
it's
deafness-
a higher level spell.
The priest spell does.
Right.
Well,
Okay.
it's deafness
there's-
is not higher level. It's just a separate spell.
There is a third level spell called blindness or deafness that
Right.
wizards also have,
That's what I was thinking of.
but it's in School of Necromancy.
Right,
Okay.
but it's,
So-
now one thing that the wizard blindness spell does not allow you to do is remove it remove blindness. That one I believe you can end it at any time. It's permanent, but you can always cancel it if you've put it on someone.
Or
If I
dispel
remember
magic.
correctly. Well, yes, but I mean
It's a
specifically,
magical.
it is
thing.
it is a spell that is permanent, but you can end at any time if you want. The caster can.
Cure spells will not remove the blindness. But
Okay,
the
hypnotic
dispel
pattern.
magic or the spellcaster can end it.
Yeah, because it's not actual blindness; it's an illusion.
And then number of pages for hypnotic pattern.
Oh. There we go.
Oh, another user of that spell. Level up that spell.
Okay, so you get both of those spells.
Okay. Next one. Ouch, that's a failure.
Okay, so no wizard lock. This level, you can try to learn
Yes.
it again when you go up a level,
Mhm.
and you can always research it,
Yes. Okay.
but it takes time and money.
Okay, what do I want to do for my last one? I'll do this one. That is also a failure because that is alteration.
Okay. All right. Two unfortunate
Alright.
rolls there.
Yeah.
Now you will
Yeah.
on the trip out, you will also be able to learn more
Yeah.
spells as well. There was some talk about I asked you guys if you wanted to go to the gnomish port of It's Not My Job to Name It, which is kind of on the way.
I don't mind.
I'm okay
Otherwise,
with
it
it.
would be
Yeah.
afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm done with either, honestly.
I don't mind going there.
I would prefer to go on the way because there is we don't know what is going to happen in the Dark Star.
Yeah, and they might have information on Darkstar as well.
well, I mean, if you all die, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
like,
You know,
the campaign's over. So
That
Yeah,
murderer
that-
was just waiting for us.
Yeah.
It's not my
I've-
job to name it on.
I feel like this
Down
was
here.
a question that got sent out to the patron supporters. Would you like me to kill them? Yes or no?
Owl to kill them, not
now,
good I kill them.
keep in mind, it is in the plane of the ecliptic. It is not up or down. So
Go right for it.
yeah. So the question is basically like, I guess, does anyone have an issue with going there first?
I'm fine with it.
I'm fine.
with it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So then the plan is to head down to It's Not My Job to Name It, and then up to the Dark Star.
hmm
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How do you is there anything anyone else wants to do in series? Any other things that you want to purchase for yourselves? Did you get any, did everyone get the silver ammunition that you wanted for your, personally, stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the silver ammo that I was looking for.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I got any for me. So,
You got a throwing axe, or unless you use Syrah arrows.
well, Braxon does have several missile weapons, but he doesn't usually get to use them much.
Mhm.
Because quite often he ends up going into melee because fights start.
I was rereading the ship rules, and in the case of a ram, both sides do get off missile attacks first, individual missile attacks. So FYI.
Oh right. Okay.
Oh, that's
Oh.
cool.
I would. There was something. Yeah, no, Solas. If you'd be willing, I would pay. I would see if there's another large peril to be bought, and I would identify the short sword.
Yeah, if you are willing to pay for it, yeah.
Yeah, it's whether or not there's any perils, I would do that. I want to know exactly what that short sword plus is. If it's more than 2.
At this point, I'm kind of okay with just like retconning a purchase of those things because it's more about having the money. You guys
got the money.
yeah. So it's really about just whether
I'm not going
you
to buy like
are
10 because they probably don't have 10.
right. What I mean is like
Just the odd
if you
thing
were
here
if
and
you
there.
were on the way to it's not my job to name it, and then you were like, hey, you know what? Maybe I should get this better identified. Just deduct the money kind of thing.
Yeah, I have. It was just whether or not Solas had the time and you were alright with it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
I mean, the improved identify is not quite as taxing and time-consuming as the normal identify.
Yeah, we had some downtime. It was just whether or not
So-
I'd throw my interest in the sword if it was more than 2.
Oh, this is the one that has not been distributed yet?
Yeah, the short sword.
Okay, give me a second. Where is that?
Finnel'ar blade. Inscribed with leaves and vines. I'm guessing that's just a flavor text for elven nature-y kind of.
I mean, most of the time it's a description of what it looks like. Just simply what it looks like. Alright. Okay. Yes. Alright. Identifying that.
Yep.
Alright. That is a short sword plus 2.
Okay.
Does that make anyone interested in it?
I already have 2 short swords plus 2, although the other one does give a curse to everyone nearby me.
I was planning to pick up short swords
Take it.
eventually. Okay.
Just take it.
I mean,
Braxon was,
well,
thinking
first of
saying
all, is
something.
anyone else interested in it, or is everyone okay with Lankas getting it?
Is short sword the longest weapon you can hold being no more? Is the long sword a two-handed
I
sword
don't know
for
if
you?
it's. It is not a two-handed sword. No, I think I'll.
Medium
it's,
weapons.
uh,
Medium weapons do need to be used in 2 hands for gnomes. Yes.
Is short sword medium? I thought
No,
short
no,
sword.
No,
no.
short
Short
sword's
swords are
short.
small.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's basically
But yeah, like
your limit.
a long sword would require me to use 2 hands.
Yeah.
But
What about rapier? That's medium now.
If it's medium, then it requires 2 hands.
No.
yeah, that's why I'd want a short sword because that'd be like the
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to take that?
as long as no one else wants it who can actually use it
That's
right
fine.
now.
Go for it. I had a thought, but you want it, so take it.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Again, I
generally
won't be
do
able to
use
use it
shorts.
for a while, which is why.
Well, no, you can use it. You just have a non-proficient penalty, which I believe is
Minus
for the
3.
thief -3. So, with the +2, that's -1.
If you want, Braxon will train with you, and you will eventually learn how to use it. Well, i.e., when you level up, you get a weapon proficiency.
Yeah. I plan to get it the next weapon proficiency.
Yeah.
That was my plan.
And it does do
was
2
basically-
points of damage, which is not deducted by, like, non-proficient
Yeah.
penalty doesn't reduce it also.
So, which one was that? Oh, that was the pirate ship.
Yeah, the
Captain.
pirate captain had it. We just
And everything else got a name on it. Okay.
put Lankas.
There's 2 spells that Solas is interested in learning during the time.
Okay.
First is Unseen Servant.
You have spare first level slots?
I do.
Okay. Go ahead and roll.
Can I?
That's a
Sorry.
success.
Go ahead
Yeah,
and
no,
roll
I was
for the
just
pages.
copying it for Lankas.
And what
So-
question did you have, Braxon?
Well, I don't know if Solas is finished.
He's got another spell, but I can answer your question while he's rolling for pages and writing it down.
Okay, I was going to say, can Braxon have that suit of armor identified with a pearl?
Which suit of armor?
The one I've taken off the sheet now. Hang on. It's
The one with the silver wires.
yeah, the one with the silver wires. It looks like water. I tried swimming in it.
Okay.
It's called...
Pay a 250 gold piece pearl.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was D6 -1 plus spell level.
Yeah.
So what? Just D6.
Forgot
Oh,
to roll
nice.
for the,
Oh wow,
other
that's
one.
sufficient.
Okay.
That was nice.
Male size for a human with silver wires running through the links.
Yeah, that is
Looks like
just
this-
+1 male. It has no other special features.
Okay.
Oh. Still worth something.
And the second spell is just plain old invisibility.
Okay.
That's a success.
Okay.
Darrakar. You wear banded armor or something?
Let me. It's chainmail.
There was a lizard man here that sells unusual armor size for unusual people, larger
Yeah, I
people like
can-
yourself. You could look for some better armor.
I can get banded armor there then.
All
Yeah.
plate, probably.
All right. Well, let's see what kind of armor I can get. If I can get an upgrade, sure.
He would definitely be able to. I think Minotaurs would be common enough that he would have some sized for you for banded armor. That would be. Give me a second to calculate it. Armor for you is 3 times the normal price. So that is going to be 630 gold pieces.
Oh, that's actually pretty good. 630. Yeah, I can. Let me just do the. Well, I can handle the math.
Okay.
So, banded armor, I'll add into my inventory first.
All right.
I mean, an extra AC is an extra AC. I mean, it takes you longer to get in the armor, I think, but
Yeah.
you can maybe commission plate armor at a later point.
And you can
Yeah.
keep the mail around if like you want to get into something fast.
And a backup armor.
Yeah. Braxon, do you have a question?
Braxton's
Yeah,
going to
Braxon.
ask Sunfire if he can wear that armor and use a helm or cast spells.
Oh, doesn't he only like leather?
Yeah, I
a
think
cleric.
so. I'm not. He has some special restrictions above and beyond normal cleric because he can use hand
Right.
axes.
Okay.
I do not remember offhand.
Because our other 2 helmsmen are wizards, so they'd have problems spell casting. Well, here's a question for you, right?
Mhm.
What's Soccer's
If
apprentice, Scott?
well, you don't own the armor, so
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead and ask your go ahead and ask your question, Braxon, please.
if Nor sits on the spell jamming helm, he has problems casting spells in armor, but can he spell jam in armor?
Yeah, but he's gonna be incredibly uncomfortable.
Okay, fair enough.
Wizards are trained to wear armor.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
it is.
Something like Elven Chain might be doable, but
No, that's
Even
fine.
that would be uncomfortable if you haven't any practice in wearing armor.
If one of
No, that's
you
fine.
guys were in that situation, I would leave it up to your character, like you as a player. But NPCs, they're not gonna.
That's fine. No, I was just trying to
the
find a way.
Solas is on the helm. We clad him up in full plate.
If Solas was on helm, he would definitely not be wearing any armor other than his magic gear.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so Darrakar has gotten some bandit armor for himself. Nice little improvement there. Anything else that you guys want to do?
You don't want us identifying all the items. You want us to actually just play around and use them, don't you?
Yeah,
Is a
generally.
general rule.
Yeah.
All right, so I will save the shield from knowing what it is.
Yeah, I'd like to buy for Braxon. I'd like to buy 10 silver steel bullets for his gun.
Okay.
Which might be recoverable.
Just go for silver. Just go for silver.
You don't recover the bullets, generally.
Yeah, you don't.
You don't. I thought you could dig them out of people after you shot them.
They generally deform so much. Like even like standard shot are lead anyway.
Fair enough.
Like they all
Fair
deform
enough. You
anyway.
convinced me.
Yeah.
Plus 10 charges of smoke powder. Because I've lost track of how many I've got, so I'll probably run out.
You haven't used any in.
If he has lost track, then he has run out.
Yeah.
Maybe they got wet. Maybe they got ruined in some way. Hold on, let me see how much they have. All right. Not a whole lot of smoke powder charges. Your GIF have already purchased some more, so the best you can do is buy 6.
Buy 6.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll buy 6 bullets then if I can buy 6 smoke powder charges.
Smoke powder charges normally come with regular shot, so it is up to you to decide whether you're loading with regular or silver. You'll have both. However much normal shot you however many charges of smoke powder you have, that's how many shots you have, like the bullets.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
It's just easier to keep track of that way.
I'm not using this power, but I'm buying another power.
All right, that's fine.
The 250 one.
Okay, you guys ready to head to It's Not My Job to Name It, or any other last-minute stuff?
I should be good.
Yeah. Just a moment. I need to check something. Yeah, there is one more spell that I would try to learn from the books.
Okay.
It's Shroud of Flame, 5th level spell.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah, I'll just update this.
And that's a success.
Okay. Roll for number of pages.
Mm-hmm. That's a decent.
Okay.
All right.
I figured that this would be more useful than Cone of Gold in Darkstar.
I can't imagine why.
There was something that I brought up in the party chat, but I don't think we've done it. But we haven't left yet, or
No, you have not left. That's why I'm giving you the moment, last chances to do things.
Yeah, once we leave, too late.
Okay, I can't remember if we, if you were given the details specifically on this sword. You were just told its location, right? It's in the Dark Star.
I was told. I was given a riddle. I will bring it up. It's so. Well, it wasn't really a riddle. I was told what I find can be found in the Sphere of Grey. Seek out the Black Star, the Great Shield of Life and Death. Be warned of icy darkness. Only holy can fight the unholy.
All right, so holy. I mean, we can. If a sword ended up there, then one would assume that there was another paladin that had it.
Mm-hmm.
No.
So
No.
No?
No.
Other classes can use holy swords.
They just function as basic
Normal
magic weapons.
They just don't.
No, they function as basic magic weapons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In the hands of a fighter and such, it functions as a basic magic weapon.
All right. Well, I was hoping to look up, other adventuring groups or something that ended up here.
I think it's going to be that there's not going to be. I think Darkstar is quite old.
Yeah, you would strongly get the impression that like this is not whatever happened is not something that happened like 3-4 years ago, kind of thing, or within the last
Hundreds,
3-4 years.
Thousands.
Decades minimum.
All
Old
right, in the
hasn't
last
got
century.
exact age.
Yeah, you don't. You absolutely do not know any exact ages, but like the Dark Star has been around long enough that it has a reputation, that the area has a reputation. So the Dark Star itself has been around for centuries.
Mhm.
Whether the sword has been there for centuries, And when I
That's
say
anyone's
that it
guess.
has been around for at least centuries, it could have been around for 20,000 years or 1,000,000 years, but traffic was just slow that people didn't know about it. Yeah.
Mhm.
So the point being that it is something that has gotten a reputation. So
Mm-hmm.
All right. Cool. I suppose what I was trying to aim for was, and then in the taverns, I just ask around, has anyone gone to the Dark Star? Any adventuring groups and stuff like that?
no. Again, well, like. And yeah, I mean, you probably would have asked around for general information periodically at like all the places that you've been, but basically like anyone who has gone, and there's rumors that people have, and yeah, now that you're asking about this, people are putting 2 and 2 together that you're going. You would definitely pick up that, oh yeah, I think like 4 years ago, so there was another group that was going there. Anyone heard of them since? Nope. That kind of thing, So
It seems like
Strongly
they got
hinting at your fate.
yeah, so
it sounds like people go there and they don't come back.
Bit like the forest.
definitely when you leave, people are like, bye, see you never. See you never again. They're expecting you to die.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck storming the castle.
Mm-hmm. They're so
Okay.
dead.
Good luck storming the castle uphill through a moat that is filled with poisonous and dangerous creatures.
I am
Without
thinking about
any
casting
siege
a
weapons
commune,
or...
but I'm writing up the questions. So
Okay.
it's
Do you want to cast the commune before you go, kind of thing, or
No, it would be during the traveling.
Okay.
It's just generalized questions for the most part. I'm just rolling stuff down.
Old?
Mhm.
Was there any mages on the series?
a few, but they're mostly like the town is small and growing at this point, so there aren't any in residence. The wizards who are in town are looking to hire off as helmsmen.
I would have asked them if any of them had Alarm, the first level spell. Since it's not in our library.
Yeah. One would be willing to trade that, but since he is currently trying to get hired as a helmsman, since you're not interested in hiring him as a helmsman, he will be asking for 500 gold in exchange.
I will pay it.
Okay.
How long? Hey, would you like a job as a helmsman? We're going to
Death incarnate.
this place where everyone thinks we're going to die there. Like, would he
that's a nice
charge
one.
less? Would he charge less than 500 gold pieces?
I mean, if you were going to hire him as a helmsman, then he'd probably charge you nothing. But
No,
he's
I
looking
mean,
for...
I mean for joining us on the mission.
I mean, again, if you wanted to hire him as a helmsman, but he's like level 3.
Yeah. So how would it? How much would it cost to hire him to come with us? Would it be-
150 would be his normal going rate, but then he'd be like, "Oh, you're going there? No, I'm looking to hire on a trader,
I'm
something
looking to
safe."
survive my first spelljamming experience.
I mean, he got
Yeah.
to series, so he's not his first spell jamming experience, but he is looking to survive.
Now I
Yeah.
need only Leomund's secret lodge, since I now have the alarm and the unseen servant to accompany it.
Do you need those spells for Leoman's Secret Lodge?
You don't, but if you know the spells and have the spell ingredients, you can add them to the cast of the Leomund's Tiny Hut
Gotcha.
secret
gotcha.
lodge, and you get the effects.
Gotcha. Okay.
So basically, I now can improve Leomund's secret lodge whenever I learn it.
Understood.
Okay. So the
Well
place we're
worth the
heading,
500.
the place we're heading to is like the Rapanathuk of space.
I have no idea what that is.
It's a
I-
it's a third-party dungeon associated with Orcus.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I've heard of Rapanathuk, but I've not.
Question.
Yeah.
Yes, Lafdul.
When I ask a commune question and it asks for I mean, you get yes or no, or maybe a little bit of a description. But
Yeah.
if I'm asking for one or the other, will it give me one or the other?
That will really depend on the question.
Do remember that the answer can also be,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, no. I was gonna ask like, what is the most common? Not common. All right, no, I'm writing it up, so I'll ask in a minute. Yeah.
Solas would have picked up some alchemical supplies
Okay.
to make vials of acids and such.
Okay.
I don't have the prices for those, so you can give them after game for me.
Like, do you have a fixed number of things in mind, or are you just looking to stock your lab?
I'm looking to make basically bottles of acid that or containers of acid that our player characters can throw if they
In the flow.
are carrying them.
Right, but
In
are
the
you
flow
looking?
or in the
Right.
Darkstar,
But are you looking to make a fixed supply? As in, I want to make 5 of them. I want to make
yeah,
50 of
I'm-
them. Or are
I'm
you being
looking to
like,
make
I just want to be able to make them when I
supply.
want them?
I want to make fixed supply.
Okay. After the game, send me how many you are planning to make,
Yeah.
and I will give you prices.
Yeah. And those are for the flow or during the Darkstar,
Okay.
since acid can work on some undead.
I mean, acid will generally do the amount of damage that it's listed as doing. Like,
Mhm.
unless something's immune to
Yeah.
acid, or yeah. Yeah,
Well,
basically,
there's
unless it's
few-
immune to
few-
acid or it's made up of something that is not harmed by acid, then yeah, it'll do whatever
Yeah,
damage it lists.
There's few acid spells that say specifically that it doesn't work on specific undeads.
Okay. Well, yeah, they'll never work on non-corporeal undead.
This acid spell I remember reading about was that it doesn't work on skeletons and such.
Okay.
Specifically mentioned that.
Then that would probably be something that doesn't work on bones.
Yeah. But I'm interested in making fixed amount. I will give you the amount after the game.
Okay. Lafdul.
I'm
you-
at like question 3 right now. I'm working on it.
Okay.
It's gonna take a while. I should get it before the session's done, but yeah.
But basically the idea is that I would do it during our trip from here to it's not my job to name this place to Darkstar.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm casting my commune when we're traveling. It's not anything we're going to be able to retroactively change. for the most part. It's just going to guide us going forward. That's the aim of the questions I'm going to ask.
Right, but they might guide you to picking up some things before you leave.
How long's the travel time to the? It's like months or.
Oh no, couple days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You're
I
on the
don't
inner
see it on
sphere.
the
You're
map.
in the inner sphere. You're looking at days of travel, not weeks of travel here.
Oh no! I mean, worst case scenario, we might have to backtrack, but the information that I come across would have to be really good for us to make us do that.
Well, how many questions do you have right now out of how many that you
Like
can
3
get? Okay, out of
like. That's a good question. I think it's 1 per level. I need to check the spell.
I'll look. So why don't you discuss it with the group then? Yeah, 1 per level.
Yeah, I'll just write in the. These are just like rough ideas that I'm thinking of. I will put it in the chat.
Because these things can be group discussions. Like what do we want to? What information do we want, etc.
I guess are there any survivors who
I would
aren't
expect
the
the answer
Rhaegar?
to be. I would expect
Yeah, I
the answer
know.
to be that are we more likely to encounter incorporeal or corporeal undead on Darkstar to be both.
Well, you can still
Will they
ask.
get a
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
yeah, but more likely it should still lean in one direction.
So Lafdul, you said about how long it would take. The Dark Star's on the opposite side. If we flew around on the inside of the asteroid belt, not in the asteroid belt, because that slows you down, it would take less than 6 days to get to the Dark Star. I don't see where the other thing is because I don't see it on Nord's map, so it might be invisible or maybe.
Oh, I might not have
So
updated the. Hold on.
Down there, it's a green thing.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think I revealed the name.
Yeah, I think that's why it was
Yeah,
hard
you
to
didn't
okay.
reveal the name.
Fair
Yeah,
Fair enough.
I need to specifically set that, and I don't always remember to do so.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm not.
It's about 20,
Yeah.
20 spaces to directly to Darkstar plus
Yeah.
the effect of us having to move plus 25 up.
That's fine. I wasn't moaning about that. I was just saying it's got to be less than 6 days, right? So looking at that, it's probably 3 days.
So
'Cause we can
basically, so the Dark Star is up 25, and what that means is you will every time you move forward 1, you also have the choice of gaining 1 in height as well.
Right. Okay.
So think of it like 3D kind of thing. So
Yeah.
now you're not going to be gaining any height going to It's Not My Job to Name It. But then to get to the Dark Star, you are looking at like every time you move forward 1, you can also gain 1.
Which we would do, but then for the ones where we haven't gained enough, that's another. For every 5 of those, that's another day to go up.
All right, so why don't we turn the commune into a group thing? What do you have right now? I know you put it in the chat, but there are viewers who might want to know too.
Well, the first question was, is the Dark Star connected to other planes of existence? Are they like overlapping or bleeding into the Prime by having like a permanent gate?
So that's
in
2
effect?
questions.
Is that?
That's 2 questions.
Yes. Because they might be connected but not bleeding.
Alright.
Into the
Yeah,
plan.
alright, it can be split up, I guess. I've got plenty of questions, so.
Also, that you ask if they are connected to negative energy plane or demi-plane of shadow is basically 2 questions.
Not necessarily. I mean, but yeah, generally it is like, keep in mind, yes or no. So,
I might get
Or
yes for
single
both
word
of them.
answers.
yeah. So, like,
Is there a permanent gate to the negative energy plane there?
right. And then is there a permanent gate to the demiplane of shadow? Another question.
They're going to be dependent on a bleeding effect, I guess. Into the prone.
Bleeding is different. Overlapping is different. Something can have a
Mhm.
gate and there be no bleed.
And there might not be gate, but there might be overlapping.
Right.
Just thinking how to word that then.
Don't worry too.
Well,
Don't
the
worry too much.
The very first
Don't worry
question
too much
is-
about the wording. The wording is only important if it's actually ambiguous. And remember, you're communing with your god and your, or a servant of your god. Admittedly, your god might decide to pull your leg.
Trick you.
But in general, you're dealing with people who are on your side. You're not dealing with someone who doesn't like you.
Has to answer your questions because the spell forces
Yeah.
their spirit to answer.
I mean,
Well,
you
the
could
very
also cast a spell, and you don't have to ask all the questions. If you only have 4 questions,
Besides, it's okay to ask that first line that you suggested as multiple different questions. That allows us to have more accurate information.
Yeah,
I mean, if you ask a question that is multiple questions in one, I will count that as multiple questions, even if you phrase it one way.
Mm-hmm.
So don't worry. Again,
He's just trying to get it rewrite it. Give him a second.
Yeah.
Let me play.
But other question that were suggested were: are we more likely to encounter incorporeal or corporeal undead in the Darkstar? And are we more likely to encounter creatures not native to Prime than creatures in the Prime within Darkstar?
I suppose one of the other questions is Darkstar a meteor, a body, a thing?
you know it's an asteroid.
Alright, yeah. I suppose we could try and work out if the asteroid is worked, like as in like it was. Is it natural or is it worked?
Didn't the sage say that there was some reports of seeing ruins on there? When Ockar commissioned the sage.
I believe so.
I have some recollection, but can't be sure. That they said that there were sightings of some ruins within their Darkstar, but no one has who has gone look them closer has ever come back.
All right. Are there any questions that other people have that they would like asked?
I will.
Let's start with Braxon. Any yes? Basically, you're looking for yes or no questions. Are there any yes or no questions that you think could help you prepare?
Man, I'd be thinking of combat questions, but
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Again, they're yes or no, so there's a limited amount of information.
Have you asked if there's
Hasn't cast a spell yet, so there's no answers yet.
All right, okay.
I'm writing the questions up, as it were, or editing the post.
All right, let me have a look, see what you've already got. Are there? Oh, you've already put incorporeal. There.
I was thinking more along the lines. So, do we know if it's dangerous to approach? Like, do people get attacked if they approach?
It has a reputation of danger to just go near it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so But that
'Cause
could
my
be just
thought-
because of the code. Is the code on that? Yeah, something about the code.
The code we know is unnatural.
So my thought
Since,
is
no matter how much you put on, it doesn't
Should we
help.
ask? Do we need magical protection against the code?
that is
Yeah.
a good question. I was
Yeah.
going to ask
Do
something like,
we-
Go ahead, Lankas.
I was going to ask something along the lines of, is the danger around, or is the danger above the surface, or just, but basically, is the danger just on the surface of the planet or outside the planet? But we seem to know that there's something about cold, so
I
probably
think what the sage
the cold
said
question
that,
is better.
I think what the sage said is so that we know what we have been already told is that the area around Dark Star is unnaturally cold, and
But asking about the do we need protection from it?
The darkness around it is also unnatural. That not even magic light will shine as bright as it normally does.
It could be an open-ended question I would ask, but the deity could give a single-word answer.
Mm-hmm.
So I would ask it. If I was asking like a question like, "What is our best defense against the unnatural light?" Would it give an answer to that?
It might. I mean, you won't know until you ask it.
Right. What is
Because the deity might not know.
So,
the servant of the deity.
Unnatural darkness? It might just say magical light.
how about
we-
this? How about this? You have some questions already. I am okay with you guys. Like, augury is a little bit more precise on exactly how you ask and stuff like that. Commune isn't. You're communing directly with your deity or a servant of the deity. Just cast a spell, and we'll go through the questions. And if people then have a question afterwards, then we can fill up the rest of the question count.
Yeah, I mean,
Or chase the questions.
I'm gonna cast a spell anyway. It's because there's a time frame on it. I mean, if
I'm
you're being
not
generous
that-
with the time frame,
I'm pretty generous.
all right, then I cast a spell. And
Okay.
we'll just go for the questions.
All right. So your first question again. Wording is you don't need to be super duper precise with the wording. I'm like, this is your deity. Your deity is concerned with
All right,
helping
we'll-
you. So
Yeah, all right.
Plus
Is the dark star connected to other planes of existence?
no.
Okay, that eliminates the next two questions.
But well, you were asking about overlap. I mean, like originally you were asking about overlap. So that's where my mind was. Did you want to say because there could be difference?
The bleeding effect is different from overlap.
Yeah, no. At the moment, I've edited it. We've not seen the things. Right now,
no,
I've got
I was more focused on what you asked.
I'm kind
Yeah,
of wondering. He was mentioning an unnatural cold. I think it was.
Yeah, do we need defense against the unnatural cold?
All right.
All right.
What
Well,
is
let's
the
go
like-
through. Let's go through the other stuff. Okay. So you wanted to ask, is it connected to other planes of existence?
Yeah,
All right. And so you're skipping the next two because of that.
because I got an answer.
Okay.
Because it's not connected.
Okay. So next question. Oh, first of all, actually, what level are you?
9.
Okay. So.
It's question level 9
Mhm.
rounds or something like that. Are we more likely to encounter corporeal undead or corporeal undead in the Dark Star Core?
Both.
Yeah. Are we more likely to encounter creatures not native to the Prime than creatures in the Prime within the Dark Star Core? Are we more likely to encounter extra planar creatures?
You are not.
So more creatures native. Do we need magical protection? Do we need magical protection against the unnatural code
It would be
radiating from the
helpful.
Dark Star? Oh, helpful but not necessary.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. What is the best protection against the unnatural darkness?
Magical light.
Alright.
Oh,
That's where, yeah, well, it seemed obvious that one, but
Is
Alright.
the you asked about connection, but overbleed is different than connection.
yeah, so I mean,
is
a
there
bleeding effect.
is there
Well-
bleeding effect from other planes to the Darkstar?
Well, there is something.
Okay,
I'm,
all right,
I'm-
hold on. Okay, Solas asked a question. Are you okay with that, Lafdul, since you're the one actually asking the question?
Yeah.
Okay.
'Cause we know
next
the
up, once this question is asked, then I want people to say, I have a question, if they have a question. So the response to that about to Solas's question is there is of a sort.
sorry. What was Solas's question? Because two people spoke and I got confused.
Go ahead, Solas.
My question was if there is a bleeding effect from other planes to Darkstar,
Right.
and the answer was that there is sort.
There is of a
Right.
sort, yeah.
Something is either causing the connection or something.
Not connection, but the bleeding of the other plane to the prime.
Like a terror reality.
I have a question, but I'm in the queue.
Yeah, I think
I
Darrakar
have a
was next.
question too.
All right, Darrakar, I think, had a question first. Go ahead, Darrakar.
Yeah.
Are there any monsters there that only look like they're undead?
You okay with that, Lafdul?
Or I don't have anything against it.
I asked the same thing of
What-
Solas's.
what-
You're the one actually asking the question. So do you ask?
What
Do you ask
what would
as
be
the as part of the commune?
Sorry, say the question again.
Are there any monsters there that only look like they're undead?
Yeah, all right, fine, I ask that.
No.
Oh, good. Good.
and I
Braxon,
think
you had a
only
question?
monsters that would
Yeah, and this is another one you might want to not ask this question. Would items such as arrows with continual light cast on them be useful against the darkness?
I mean, that is pretty obvious. Yeah, we
I
don't need to
well,
I
answer
think
that.
we already got answer to that.
Yeah, because magical light will help us.
Yeah, but is continual light magical light?
It is magical.
Yeah.
light.
Yes, it is.
Magically light.
Okay, fair enough.
Which?
Well, hold on.
Which?
Hold on. You've asked
okay.
one. Does anyone else have a question that they want to ask? Otherwise, I will go to Solas. Okay, no one spoke up.
Then
So
James, Dankus.
I've got nothing.
all right, go ahead, Solas.
I got another one, but
I saw
go ahead,
Lankas
sorry.
also speak up, but Solas had a question first.
Yeah, since we know that there is some kind of overbleed to the from other plane, what plane is the bleeding coming from? Or the bleed
Can I,
effect?
yeah, that's a good question. That's right, I don't know. Comes up.
Negative energy.
Hey, undead.
Okay, that's extremely important information.
All right, now Braxon and Lankas both spoke up, so
It depends on the
Lankas,
question.
give your
Did
question.
we ask
Then
about the cold question?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
I just missed that.
Okay. Braxon.
it would help.
Braxon, are you muted?
no.
right.
I was waiting for him.
He asked.
Oh, he asked. Oh,
He wanted a
okay.
clarification as opposed to an actual question.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. My question would be, and again, think about whether you want to ask it. Is there anything readily available in the grinder that would work against the undead there?
I don't.
I think we've had an answer to that from already.
The obvious answer would be yes, because meteors.
Well, not necessarily.
But you know, there are things that you can use against it. So it's too generic a question. I don't think it would be good. If you can narrow it down to like.
Well,
are
okay. So
there
is there anything we can obtain on that? I don't have to name the thing or whatever it's called. That would be especially effective there.
I would have one question.
Well,
another,
Lafdul,
suggestion.
Lafdul, do you want to ask Braxon's question?
I can see that would just be a yes or no answer. I don't think that
It would
good.
be yes or no. But it would let you
As
know.
in-
It would let you know that you should look for something there if it's yes.
Did he say especially useful?
Yeah, I mean, like,
'Cause
is there a
I
weapon
would-
we can get? Is there a weapon we can get? Like they might have something that flashes like the sun or something. You know?
I don't mind asking the question if it's worded along the lines of especially useful.
You can reword the question.
You're the one asking.
And
What was your
also,
question before?
ask his question, make your decision.
Yeah. What was your question, Solas? Before I think this is the last one.
Yeah, it is.
My question is the bleeding effect caused by a creature, and can we do something about it?
That's two questions.
Well, yeah. Well, can we stop the bleeding effect of the negative plane?
Presumably by killing the undead.
Yeah, that's what I kind of answer. I think the item or creature thing, where the source is coming from, would be more beneficial. I think.
Well, yeah. What's the source of the item or creature?
So we're weighing up that question with what Braxon said about. Does anyone have any preference? I mean,
Well, wouldn't a way of saying that would be what's the source of the bleed effect of plane?
It's currently. Do we have preference to ask the Braxons or my question?
can we find something especially useful against what we might encounter in a Dark Star within a place that's not my place to name or wherever it is?
Bear in mind that if we ask my question, somebody gets to have a team sequence where they build
there's
a
nothing stopping Solas
gigantic.
following up with his commune.
They build a gigantic Tinker Gnome attack rocket lighthouse.
I'm gonna go with
out of
Braxton's question because I think it'll push Solas into asking his own commune.
I've used commune on this sphere, and I'm not planning on casting another one on this sphere.
When did you use it?
I used it when we get here.
Yeah, you got like a month.
Yeah, but I'm not planning on asking again.
All right.
So don't count on my commune.
I think that was perfectly in character to think that way.
So what do you want to ask?
No, I'm still leaning into the.
Or make a decision quick then.
Is this something especially useful that we can find that would be useful in the Dark Star? It's not my job to name it.
No.
All right.
And that's a spell.
All right. No, but that it's just we just do a routine thing now. Then we just go to the Dark Star.
Okay. All right. So you make your preparations to leave and begin to get underway towards. It's not my job to name it, since that's where you wanted to go first.
Yeah.
Now you were planning on coming out into this ring and going that way, correct?
Yeah, we'll do it on the inside.
Okay.
It should be. It's technically slightly shorter. It's probably not slightly shorter in squares, but technically.
It would be less. I mean, you will encounter you have lower encounter chances.
Yeah. And we wouldn't fly through the grinder, we'd fly inside the grinder, basically.
Yeah. All right, so go ahead and get going.
Okay, hang on. I'm trying. Let's click on the button so I'm not dragging the map across the screen.
That helps. At least it's only for you.
Right. So 1, and then 2, 3,
Are we close to a payday?
4, 5.
Let me look.
Because I know that's when I time my good break wishes when that refreshes.
Yeah, payday would have happened on while you were waiting. That would have happened basically on the day you went to meet the Rhaegar.
So on the third day. And
yeah.
How many more days did we stay?
So you were
on it?
there
It's
one
just-
more day on series, and now you're 1 day in Wild Space.
Alright. That's fine then. I would have cast it while we were in Wild Space. I would have cast some. Actually, no, I can wait. No, carry on. I was going to cast Good Berries, but I'll wait until we're closer to the Darkstar, so I get a few more days on them.
Okay. Finn, did you get the payday markdown?
Yep, and the second day of docking fee.
Okay. Well, total 4 days.
Okay, I'll add 2 more.
Okay.
Yeah, we got the holy water before we left.
Okay, so you have an uneventful trip so far. Go ahead
Okay.
and advance another day's worth of blocks.
3, 4, 5.
I'm just working on my statue, I guess.
Okay. All right, and continues to be uneventful as you make your way outside the
That's
grinder.
nice.
All right. Okay, so 1, 2. Is it in there? 3?
Yep.
Right.
And it does take a little bit longer to pass through that part. So it's because of the density of the grinder, you're basically there for 2 blocks worth.
Okay. And it should have been 2 blocks for us coming out of series as well, I suppose. Then.
No, it's just the one.
Okay.
Series is not in quite as dense part.
It's also it's more like it's move in rather than move out.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
It's not. It's 2 blocks worth to move in. It is just normal movement out.
Ah, right. I see.
Yeah. Lafdul? Yep.
We worked out that the first part of the 3 parts of the obsidian I'm carving up into a stellar dragon figurine. It would be done by the time I reach Darkstar. At what point should I make that check?
Like when you're a day away.
Because
when you're a day away.
Alright, because
It'll be next session.
Yes, fine. I just didn't want to put the risk so close to be working on it when I'm potentially getting into combat every day. So
No,
I'd
when you're a
hopefully-
day away, like it's still a case of like the danger isn't a thing where it's like anyone within 4 days of it is in danger, because that's a huge area. No, it's still like you basically have to be in the block to be in danger.
Right.
Like that's where the danger related to the Darkstar is. Outside of that, it's normal encounter stuff.
And with it being so high up in the ecliptic, people are probably flying underneath it all the time.
Yeah.
With no danger to them.
Yeah, like there's only one point on its journey, because it does eventually get down, and then it goes under the ecliptic, and then comes back up. So it's on the way down right now. Okay, so you are navigating through the grinder, approaching. It's not my job to name it. You can see it already, but you're already down to tactical speed well in advance because of the density of asteroids. And you can see that it is a series of small asteroids connected together, so it's kind of like a weird spider web, but not like a big thing. Like it's 4 or 5 asteroids connected by something. Like it's too you're too far away to see exactly what the connecting material is, but that is clearly what they've done to get extra land area out of the colony. And you are traveling through. You're still hours away, even though you can see it in the distance. And one of your Herwadi on lookout calls out. So this is second shift. This is going to be second shift.
Right.
So, Braxon, you are in command. Nemeriel is on the helm. Lankas, Lafdul, and Darrakar are also on shift.
Okay. We would be because we're flying through the grinder. We'd have people on duty in case we're attacked.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be carried.
So
we
would
risky.
Yeah, we'd probably have people prepared to come out of their cabins at the very least.
Well, and you know that you're getting close to. It's not my
Yeah.
job to name it, so you probably would be have gotten people awake. So
Yeah,
I'm okay with people being awake, and just like
we
on
probably
standby
have
or something.
Probably have the weapons loaded and stuff as well.
Okay. And one of your Herwadi on lookout calls out to you, Braxon, says, "Captain, I think I saw a ship behind one of the asteroids that we passed. It was very hard to see."
Braxton's going to call General Quarters.
Okay. And like,
And then we'll wait till people are ready, and then we'll circle around and go look at behind the asteroid. But he'll ask the Hawaii. Actually, you get his telescope. He'll ask the Hawaii where it was.
okay. So is this before general quarters or after general quarters?
Oh no, after. Let's wake everyone up. Let's get everyone up
Okay.
on deck.
Then at that point, you don't see anything.
Right.
You'd have to have a look at it immediately.
Okay.
So
Fair enough.
is the goal to head towards where the lookout saw it?
Yeah, we will. But we're
Okay.
Did you say it looked like a ship?
The Herwadi thinks they saw a ship.
Yeah.
They're not sure.
Might be worth inspecting.
I
Yeah.
ask Lankas, are you? It's my name to job at Gnome for their illusions, if they're thinking uncommonly.
There would be more illusionists than other mage types, but most gnomes are tinkerers, not magicians.
Okay, let's take a slow turn.
Give
Not as
Darrakar the spyglass because he might be able to see through an illusion, knowing it for what it is.
yeah.
That's
Unless
what
they're
I'm
not tinker
suspecting.
gnomes.
Go for it.
All right, I'll take a look.
All right. So, like, all the party members are now up on deck. Braxton's, sounded general quarters. The crew is at the ready, and that's when you would have looked through and not seen anything. Braxton, Darrakar is looking as well, and you're circling towards it to go towards that.
I meant
that asteroid.
Lankas.
Correct?
Sorry, I keep getting Lankas
Oh,
and
you want-
Darrakar
okay.
mixed up.
Lankas.
Because he's an illusionist and going to an
That-
illusionist gnome port, tinker gnome port, whatever.
That
related
actually
to
makes
him.
more sense to me because I was fooled by the what was it, the murderoid.
Okay.
It might be something native to him or natural that he recognizes, like a certain clear gimmick. That's what I'm going with. That's my hunch.
So Braxon,
okay.
you're directing the ship to go towards the asteroid that the already thinks they saw something.
What I want to do is not make it obvious that we're heading towards where the ship is, but make out
It would
that
be
we're
obvious.
flying in a big circle.
It would be obvious.
Oh, okay.
Because it is
All right,
not on, like, the route that you're taking is pretty clearly going towards the port. And if you suddenly turn, I mean, even if you gently turn another way, it's going to be obvious that you're altering your course.
All right, then.
Might sneak around with a flitter, but that's risky.
If they're going to see us, then Braxton's going to get his signaling lamp, and he's gonna signal towards where the ship is, and say this is the blade out of series.
Wasn't there more attacks lately? But this seems rather in sphere, like really close in sphere.
Do you need to ask this question in the middle of my sentence?
No, not really.
Go ahead, Braxton. Go ahead. Yeah, I don't know what that has to do with. Go ahead. So go ahead, Braxton.
This is no, that's fine. That's fine. But like you're in the middle of my sentence. This is the blade out of series. Please state your name and intention.
Okay. So the nature of light signaling is such that it is it's not like a broadcast thing.
Yeah.
So since you're not seeing where the ship is, you're just kind of hoping that they're kind of in the same general area.
Yeah, I'm aiming at where the Hawaii said they were.
Okay. All right, Lankas, you are continuing to look through the spyglass, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And Braxon, you are moving towards where the Herwady thinks it saw a ship, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Lankas, give me an intelligence check, and there is a +2 penalty to it.
You're complaining about the telescope, and you're going to blame it if you fail your roll.
Nope.
Okay, that's really good. Lankas, you see the edge of a ship move behind the asteroid that you're approaching. You can very clearly conclude that this ship is trying to avoid you. They probably would not have seen the signal, given what's going on. Give me a second intelligence check. And this is against half your score.
Any modifiers?
No modifiers, but you're aiming against half your score. So you still want low. Okay.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought that was a 3. It was so close.
So you do not recognize the type of ship it is. What you can make out is that it is dark colored, possibly black. And you convey that to Braxon. All of you would kind of realize that a black ship in the black void of wild space is a ship that does not want to be seen.
Yeah.
So are you going to continue to try to circle around the asteroid, Braxton?
Yeah, why not?
We might have
Should we
spotted pirates.
So
should we swap helmsman? Get a fast helmsman on.
No. So Lankas saw it going around the planet. So can we adjust course to go around the planet the other way? So like if it's going anti-clockwise or counterclockwise for you guys, can we go clockwise or whatever?
Yeah.
So that we're going to come out the other way, so we'll probably see it.
Yes,
and
because
Braxon
you're
again,
approaching it.
Braxton's again going to be signaling towards where he thinks it is.
Okay.
I'm thinking they are pirates.
I do have an augury. I'm just thinking how to word it.
I'm thinking they might be pirates, and if they're pirates, they're fair game.
Yeah,
And
will we be attacked? Will we be attacked if we encounter this ship?
They're probably pirates, but I also think they could be a different sort of hostile.
Yeah, they could be part of the
It could be anything.
things that are going on.
So will we be attacked if we approach the ship? Is that what it was?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking along that lines. Yeah, I guess they would just attack or they would flee. So
All
it'd be
right,
either or.
79%.
Yeah. 2 rounds to cast, so you know.
If they attack us, we get XP.
You do not get a reading.
Oh.
I'll cast my own augury.
Okay.
This is where yours fails as well, because Augury's just failed in this sphere.
What is your chance?
So
What's your priest level?
I'm level 11. I believe I'm a level 3. I count as a level 3 priest.
Yeah, so 73%.
Yeah.
That does also fail.
God damn it.
This sphere is cursed at this point. Auguries just don't work. Lafdul's just not taking augury anymore.
I might still take augury just in case.
No, Lafdul's convinced.
It is crazy that I have rolled too high 4 times for you guys like that. Because, Lafdul does have a 79% chance to get a result.
But you see, if they were Tar worshippers like Braxon, they'd have no problems. So they get better connection to their deities.
So you circle around the asteroid, and now you can pretty clearly see, since Lankas has alerted you what to look for, and you're looking for it. It is a smaller vessel, maybe half-ish the size of yours, quite broad in shape, but not very tall, doesn't have much height to it, and it is trying to get away from you.
Yeah.
Braxon, give me a carpentry check.
A carpentry check. Right, hang on.
Chase them down if they're pirates. They're going to prey on other people.
Well,
they might also be scouting party to look.
They might not necessarily be pirates.
They might be scouting party from the hostiles.
They could be, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is an older vessel, Braxon. Well known from the Unhuman Wars. They do still show up on occasion, used by other people, primarily smaller races. It is a Kobold Angel ship, painted black, and it is trying to get away from you.
Interesting.
I think we should chase it down.
Yeah, chase it down.
Should we chase it down?
Yes.
Okay.
Because there's been piracy lately from a lot of Unhumans, and we need to chase that up.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Braxton's going to send his same message.
Okay.
Now that we've seen you.
We are chasing it.
They're not responding, but you begin to chase it down. And that is where we're going to call it a session.
Problem is, we don't have letters of marque, so it's a bit of a tricky thing.
Letters of marque primarily work against vessels that are specific nations. It's less of an issue. All right, so XP wise, that is going to be let's see. So that is going to be 600 experience points for Solas. 700 experience points for Ockar. 500 for Braxon, Lafdul, Lankas, and Darrakar.
500.
500, yes. And 1,000 for Finn.
Right.
How much did I get?
You got 600.
Okay.
And Ingritha and Luar get 250 each.
Okay.
God, that puts Loar so close to level. He's like less than 50 away or something.
Let me look. Yeah. I think Ingritha's almost at her next level as well.
Getting higher. And a Republic serial ending.
Yep. As you guys are chasing down a black-painted Kobold Angel ship. Whether it's piloted by Kobolds or not, you don't know. But it is very
And just
obvious
because-
that whoever is running this vessel is trying to avoid you.
Yeah, it's
And
probably
just-
because we're a big ship.
It could be. It could be other reasons, though, too.
Sorry, Solas.
Just because we are chasing it down doesn't mean that we have to engage in combat.
That's true.
We might just be doing our duty to check if they are near duels that we need to report.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
we are a fighting ship. If we can reduce piracy in the air, we should do.
Mhm.
Yeah,
The
but
opportunity.
we don't know that they're pirates and not
Oh no, we don't know.
a bunch
We're
of
investigating.
gnomes.
So at this point, I'll be setting up the tactical map for next time, but you'll be 11 hexes away from it at this point. You'll have to wait
Okay.
until next time to evaluate the speed.
I don't know if it's a thing, but another thing I can think of that a ship might be painted black for is espionage. Or some
Yeah,
kind
I
of
did
black
say
ops.
I did say that it might be scouting places to
It could
ride.
be. It could be.
Could
But
be.
it could be it could be a scout ship working for the Tinker Gnomes. So
Yeah, well, there's only one way to find out.
If it was working for Tinker Gnomes, weren't we pretty close to? It's not my job to name it.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah, if
So
it was working for the Tinker Gnomes, I think they would have openly contacted us.
I think my next message will be sent in Tinker Gnomish.
I can help with that.
And
Yeah.
Lankas, remember, even though you're a Tinker Gnome, you still don't like kobolds, just like all other gnomes.
Yep.
Can you actually move your arms that fast to signal in Tinker Gnome?
Yeah, you might need my help with that.
Hey, he just, people might just think he's a little slow. All right, so that is where we're going to wrap up this session. Next time, we'll see what awaits them on that ship. I want to thank you guys for playing. I want to thank everyone out there for watching. Really do appreciate it. We will be back next week to see what happens.
Well, I know what won't be happening.
What?
We won't be using the GIF as the boarding party because they won't fit on the ship.
They can still get on the surface. They just can't get down below. Well, they can get somewhat down below, just not into the wings. But we'll see what
Actually, game
happens
hold.
next time.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
No problem.
Thanks for the game.
Thanks
Thanks for the game. Take care, everyone.
See ya.
Thanks for watching.